Hey guys, the Firebird is here. It's just me. My brother couldn't be here today because, I don't know, Megatron wanted 2 pieces?
Come here, little cretin.
You want a piece of me? You want a piece?
No! I want 2!
These are the jokes. I hope you're enjoying them. Anyways, sorry for not uploading for like the past week. I guess by the time I upload this video it's gonna be out about a week, because I've been very busy working on some projects for college, so I hadn't had much time to work on videos, much less the iceberg I said I was gonna do. I'm working on an animation for college and I'm gonna end up uploading that for my YouTube channel. I actually told my professors and they were all like, hey yeah, go for it. Also, my professors watch my videos, so in case they're watching this, hi. This is very awkward. Anyways, last video I talked about Thundercracker, the hidden Decepticon from Transformers Dark of the Moon. It's been a while since I've done one of those videos, and to keep the whole secret theme going, I decided to do a video for Skywarp since, well, at the beginning I just wanted to do a video talking about Skywarp's representation in the movies, you know, the comics, games, the BB movie, but one of my subscribers actually provided me with some information that they think that they saw Skywarp in Dark of the Moon, much like Thundercracker. So shout out to Sanai333, who was partly responsible for me making this video. I say partly because I already intended to do this video, but he gets some credit. And also provided me with some quote-unquote evidence as to why Skywarp was in Dark of the Moon. And I'll get more into that as we go on. So first off, let's have a little refresher on Skywarp. Everyone's favorite Decepticon, but not Hasbro's favorite Decepticon apparently. Out of Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, the original Seekers, Skywarp is the one Decepticon that gets the least amount of representation out of the main trio. Although I want to make it clear right now that animated Skywarp is the best Seeker hands down. Also, as I was looking through Skywarp's list of appearances, I just found that Skywarp's a female in Cybertron. I never knew that, that's so weird. Now, I like Skywarp. I think he has the cooler color scheme out of the 3 Seekers, but Skywarp has never really done much to impress me. In the movies, he makes appearances in plenty of comics. The Titan movie comics, where he's basically one of the Decepticon lackeys who fights the Autobots and dies at the end, or gets captured by Ness.
Did Skywarp
just die? You know, it was really unclear.
In the IDW movie comics, he's literally a background character. Doesn't do much at all. Although he does make a comeback in the United for the Universe comic, manga thing, where he fights Starscream after Starscream rebels against Megatron. He shows up, shoots at Starscream a little bit, and then just leaves. And that's literally about it. His biggest appearances when it comes to the movies will be in the movie itself, where we actually do see plenty of Skywarp clones who get killed. Skywarp only has 2 toys, and it's basically a recolor of Starscream, which, I mean, that's the whole point of Skywarp. But interestingly enough, the Revenge of the Fallen toy has a unique looking head, which, keep that small detail in mind for later. Now, unlike Thundercracker, who got a Studio Series toy and who, you know, in my video, my previous video, I mentioned that he's actually canon to the movie universe, we don't really have anything like that for Skywarp. The closest thing that we have for Skywarp that we can probably say it's canon will be the Transformers Human Alliance game, which is actually the main topic of this video. Well, it's like a main topic until one of my subscribers mentioned something else about the movies, which I'll get to that in a little bit, but first I want to talk about this. Now, in case you're not familiar with the Human Alliance game, it's basically this arcade style game where you grab these guns and you roleplay as NES soldiers fighting the Decepticons. I actually played that game before when the cinemas were still open. I never beat it because, I mean, it will take me a while to beat it, and I would just play that game to pass the time until the movie I wanted to watch started. Which originally, the Transformers Human Alliance game was gonna be the topic of this video until I found out that Skywarp was in the game. Now, the Human Alliance game takes place a few years before the events of Dark of the Moon. Now, to cut a long story short, the Decepticons are up to no good. They're trying to destroy the Earth by starting up some machines and destroying human cities. And in one of the levels, Skywarp engages Optimus Prime with his jetpack. And he actually performs really well. Like, right now as you guys seeing on the screen, Skywarp is actually going toe to toe with Optimus Prime. And he's actually using his teleportation, which, yes, finally. We have a version of Skywarp who teleports strategically. Also, fun fact, in this one scene he teleported more times than G1. Have fun with that information. Now, Despite this one scene of pure badassery, Skywarp unfortunately gets killed by the power of plot convenience and human supremacy. Basically, Optimus manages to hold him down and then the humans shoot him up a bunch and he gets the fallen treatment by having Optimus Prime rip out his spark. So at least that's consistent. And yes, that was his big break in the movies. He appeared in a game, he was a cool boss fight, he teleported a bunch, he gave Optimus Prime some trouble and then he got killed. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. But don't worry guys, that's not the end of Skywarp, because he actually comes back for the sequel game, although not in the way you think. Transformers Shadows Rising is another arcade game that basically is set before Age of Extinction in a weird kind of way, but the Dinobots are also there and Megatron's back and there's also a Nemesis Prime. Yeah, it's very weird. Now, Skywarp comes back with Thundercracker and OG Starscream and a bunch of other Seekers, but they're actually clones that were created by this weird machine that basically spawned a new Decepticon army. There are plenty of Skywarp clones in there and they all get killed. Yep. And unlike before, there's no cool Skywarp boss battle and he doesn't even teleport. I think. I could be wrong about that one. But yeah, that's it for Skyverse appearances in the games. Now I'm gonna talk about a little conspiracy theory that someone from my server suggested about how Skywarp was in Dark of the Moon. Now, I always found it weird how Skywarp and Thundercracker were never added into the live action movies because they're just recolors of Starscream. You can literally have an army of Seekers and they would just be repaints of Starscream. It saves time and money. And before you say, oh, it's probably because it'll be a little too unrealistic having Decepticons with colorful jets just fly around, which, yes, I guess that could be true, but then again, Optimus Prime goes around looking like this. The whole concept of robots in disguise is basically thrown away when you have every single Transformer being a supercar and every single Autobot, but with the exception of maybe Sideswipe and Ironhide being this car that, you know, brings attention to people. Like, you're not expecting to see these cars down the street. If you're seeing any of these vehicles, you're like, that's Transformer, as opposed to seeing like an average, you know, white van or one of those white cars that you see everywhere. So they really could and should have done that. But anyways, S9333 basically showed me this little clip in Dark of the Moon when the human soldiers are getting into position to ambush the Decepticons, and at the distance you can see what it looks to be Starscream flying away from the scene. The problem is that when this scene takes place, Starscream is already dead. And we know for a fact that Thundercracker doesn't look like that due to my last video. Which means this could be none other than Skywarp. But then again, if you take a closer look at him, it kind of looks like it's just one of those Decepticon aircraft vehicles. It looks very similar, and maybe it's just like the low pixels and the angle of this that's making it look like it's actually just a Starscream model. So 933 was kind enough to make this little image here where you can see the head, both of the arms, the torso, and the legs, which I'm kinda convinced, but at the same time, this is not movie Thundercracker, that's for sure. It could either be a Seeker, like Starscream, which, you know, it will most likely be Skywarp, because I mean, who else could it be? But at the same time, the way this thing is moving is way too, I don't know, like a plane, you know? It's stiff. I'm not really convinced that this is Skywarp. I think this is just one of those carriers, but hey, I challenge you guys to go to the comments down below and let me know or tell me if you think this is actually a Seeker. If it's not a Seeker, then it's most likely just one of the orbital assault carriers that the Decepticons use throughout the movies. But yeah, when it comes to this, I'm not entirely convinced. We do know for a fact Thundercracker was part of Dark of the Moon, even though he never appeared on screen. This could be, you know, a random Seeker, which by default I guess you could say is Skywarp, because, you know, if you're gonna have Thundercracker and Starscream in the movies, might as well have Skywarp as a random side character. But I feel like throwing that in there because, I mean, who knows, maybe you can go back to that scene and enhance it times 50 and actually pinpoint whether this thing is its own Seeker or if it's one of the Decepticon drones. Frankly, I'm leaning more towards the drones, but if you guys can convince me otherwise, you know, go for it. But up till now, Skywarp's main and biggest appearance in the Bayverse was his appearance in the Transformers Human Alliance game, which, since this is like a prequel to Dark of the Moon, at least this game explains why we don't see Skywarp in Dark of the Moon itself, so at least there's that. So while disappointing, at least Skywarp went out like a boss in the games, you know, making all those sick teleportation tricks against Optimus, actually giving him a hard time. And I think he is the first Decepticon who has gone toe to toe with Jetwing Optimus Prime. Like unlike Shockwave in Dark of the Moon, who kind of just left the area as soon as Optimus Prime powered up, and in the movies where Optimus literally used the jetpack only once, and he basically got rid of it halfway through before reaching Shockwave in there. In this game, Skywarp toe to toe against him while having it. We never seen that before in the Bayverse as far as I'm aware. So Skywarp gets the privilege, the honor of being the first Decepticon ever to actually force Optimus Prime to use the Jetwing in combat and actually give him trouble while using it. Remember that stuff I said last video about Thundercracker being the second most powerful Decepticon according to some time material? Yeah, well, throw it out of the way. Skywarp is, in my opinion, stronger than Thundercracker, than movie Thundercracker, and that fight with Optimus speaks a lot about this guy, so I tip my fedora and respect, good sir. Let me know your thoughts on Skywarp, his appearances in the movie, would you guys have wished to see him in the actual movies like Dark of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen, and so on. Personally, I would have, and honestly it's a shame that he never got added because he would have been such an easy character to add into the movies. But at least we have him appearing in Human Alliance, so it's in a way better than nothing. And by the way, when it comes to the Bayverse, you just take what you can get. For my next video, I might start working on the iceberg, or I might start working on something else. I'll see, okay? I'm very busy with college, so making time for some of this stuff is very difficult, but I guess for the meantime, I'll just cover some stuff from the iceberg. Some of the, you know, more obscure stuff like the Wage and Arrest or other movie characters and some concepts that got listed there. If there's anything from that iceberg you want me to cover or a video idea / suggestion that you have, you know, tell me in the comments down below or in my Discord server and I'll get to it whenever I can. So, yeah. RIP Skywarp, you will be remembered. Depending on how many views this video gets. Anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our amazing patrons, TrueBlue712, Stitch Productions, Stephanie Ballard, Christopher Prime, Predicting Hunter Plays, Mario Gordon, Allspark Studios, Scrublord, a huge shout out to the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100, and to our even big boss patron, XNooter23, who donated what I can only describe as a amount of money. I'll leave you guys to figure out how much. Thank you guys for your donation, it's very much appreciated by me and Squeaker, even though Squeaker is way too lazy to thank you. I tip my fedora in gratitude and put on my supreme gentleman hat in your honor. Link to our Patreon and the channels will be in the description down below for you guys to check out. Some of them do Transformers content, some of them do their own little thing, funny moments, their own animations. There's quite a diverse range of content here, so if you ever feel interested in checking other people out, check these guys. And if you guys want to shout out your subs, all you gotta do is donate to our Patreon. If you donate to our Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You get a shout out in my videos, you can collab with me in some of my videos if you so choose to, request your own videos, exclusive roles in my Discord server, and there's plenty more coming. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. But keep in mind that it's entirely optional because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Anyways guys, thank you guys so much for donating, it's much appreciated. If you guys want to donate, you know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe guys.